Hey, I'm glad you're tuned in. I have a lot that I want to talk about concerning basketball, Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever. I have a whole lot, but I'm going to limit it today. I'm recording this on late Friday afternoon, and there's a game tonight between Indiana and between the LA Sparks. So we'll get to see Cameron Brink, who was number 2 in the draft. And so I'm hoping to get this video up before that game tips off, but I'm running on a tight schedule, so that may not happen. But I like to let you know the timing so that you understand my perspective is in this moment before they play their 6th game. They are Indiana Fever, 0-5 record, and hopefully they can get a win tonight. But that game hasn't tipped off and won't for a few hours. Before I get into the meat and potatoes of what the topic is today, speaking of the game tonight, I have to say, I really hope that Coach Sides does a better job with her substitutions. I'm noticing it. I'm reading comments about it. I'm hearing other people say we just don't get her substitution patterns. I talked in another video about, I think it was after game 4. Yeah, because game 4, the Fever came out hot. I had put out an episode, I put out a video after 3 games, and I talked about this team and some of the things they needed to shore up on and the energy they needed to bring, and they need to box out, they need to rebound, they do all this stuff. And they came out in game 4 on fire. They were hot, and then Caitlin shoots a 3. It goes in, but the whistle had already been blown because she was fouled on the floor. So it gets challenged. And so you got the time that it takes for the challenge. Well, as I said, the team is hot. Caitlin is hot. But then they lose the challenge, and it was called, so the basket was waved off, and it was called a foul beforehand. All right, it is what it is. But when they take the floor again, guess who's not on the floor? Caitlin's not on the floor. And I'm trying to figure out, why would you ice her? She came out hot. The team was actually showing some energy, and then you take her out. This is pretty early in the first quarter. Why is your star player or your number 1 draft pick, if you think it's too soon to call your star player, why is she on the bench? She didn't need her. She got a chance to catch her breath, and she needed it. They just spent all that time waiting for the call for the challenge. So there was time to catch her breath. They're flowing, and this coach puts her on the bench. I don't get it. So I pointed that out before. But then in game number 5, in this game against the Seattle Storm, if you watch that game, what a game it was, right? And so, like me, other people are saying, why is Caitlin Clark on the bench in the 4th quarter in a tight game like that? Makes absolutely no sense. She's not in foul trouble. This is pivotal time. This is game time. This is do or die time. And you've got your number 1 pick, the leading scorer collegiately. You've got it doesn't make sense. She's on the bench. And so that's a coaching issue. And this is what I'm pointing out. Some of these issues comes down to coaching. Absolutely. And so I'm hoping that she does a better job of that tonight in the game. She's got to get this thing, to use her term, figured out. That's coming. I'll talk more about that another time. All right. So now to what I'm on here for today. Caitlin Clark, as we all know, is a phenomenal basketball player. But I'm here to tell you that she might be even better in the way she plays the media. The media, the sports world, not in her favor, in case you haven't been able to tell. And I'm going to do some more on that another time. But this young 22-year-old girl from Iowa is more savvy in playing the media, perhaps, than even playing the game of basketball, where we know she's absolutely phenomenal. I want to show you 3 things. And I'm going to start with Caitlin Clark being asked about Asia Wilson's comments about race. Everybody's been hearing it. The only reason Caitlin's getting the attention is because she's white. There's white privilege. There's been a whole lot of that going on. A'ja Wilson, she chimed in. You may have heard her comments on that also. I'm going to share some of them with you. I'm going to share her comments with you. And then I'm going to transition into Caitlin handling that before the media. So here's what A'ja Wilson says about race. When asked about race, she says, I think it's a huge thing. I think a lot of people may say it's not about black and white, but to me, it is. She went on to say, it really is, because you can be top-notch at what you are as a black woman, but yet maybe that's something that people don't want to see. They don't see it as marketable. So it doesn't matter how hard I work. It doesn't matter what we all do as black women. We're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is. This is from A'ja Wilson with the Las Vegas Aces. Some people are calling her the best player in the league. And she says, it is about race with Caitlin Clark, and it boils my blood when people say it's not, because it is. And no matter what I do, no matter how hard I work, no matter how hard black women work, it's never enough, because she's the white girl with white privilege, so she gets the attention. No, don't mention that she's a leading scorer, that she's a leading assist in college. Don't mention that her game is absolutely exciting and she's phenomenal. It's just because she's white. Now, I could say more, but I'm not here for that. Maybe another time. Let's just say it's ridiculous, okay? And she said, to me, it is. To me, it is. Yeah, well, it might be, because there are some people, everything is about race. It's always a reason why we don't want to say, maybe my game is not exciting to a large percentage of people who haven't been tuning in. Maybe you're not likable. And one thing that's not likable? When you cry racism for every single thing. No, you're not likable. And there's exhibit A of that. But anyway, I want to talk about Caitlin Clark, because she was asked this question. She was asked about A'ja Wilson talking about race. That's what the media will do. So they asked her. So let's take a look at how Caitlin Clark responded to the question about race.
Not seen her comment. She just essentially said to the AP that there's a race element in her eyes. That was only a thing that even comes across her mind.
Now, I don't know if you can hear you can't really hear the question well, but she says, Caitlin says, I don't know what she said. And the lady says, well, she basically said there's a race element to your popularity or your attention.
Yeah, I think there's, opportunities for every single player in women's basketball.
I'm stopping here because Caitlin starts with, yeah. And I saw someone on social media say something like, did she just say yeah? But understand, Caitlin's not saying yeah like A'ja Wilson is right. She's saying yeah like she often says when asked a question by the media. People say yeah before they say anything, in the same way they go, well. Caitlin is not saying yeah, she's right. So let's get that part out of the way. Back up a little bit. And here we go again.
That was one of the things that even comes across her mind. Yeah, I think there's, opportunities for every single player in women's basketball. I think the more opportunities we can give across the board, that's what's going to elevate women's basketball. It doesn't need to be just one or two players. And I think that even goes back to college. I think the parity in women's basketball is what's making more people want to come and watch it. I think the more we can spread the love, show people, show their talent, show their teams, that's just going to continue to elevate it. So I think that's the biggest thing. I've had a lot of fun, being in the spotlight and helping to grow this game and move it forward. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. But I think I know firsthand how talented this league is, whether it was me as a young kid or whether it's me now playing here, how many talented players are in this league. And the more we can share the love, the better this league's going to be.
Caitlin didn't bat an eye. Caitlin didn't stumble over the question. She handled the question like a master. She mastered the media. What the media are trying to do is to get Caitlin to say something that will be some huge soundbite and create even more division than some people are trying to create and to keep going. So the question is, hey, she says that it's because you're white. What do you have to say about that? What Caitlin does is say, hey, you know what? I think the more that we can highlight teams, the more we can highlight players, the more we can do that, then the more we grow our game. Notice how she handles it. She wants to say that's a bunch of nonsense. Look at my stats. Look at my history and what I've done. But she says, you know, the more we can highlight everybody, the greater it will be. And then she manages to say, turn it back to herself and say, you know, I'm proud of what I've been able to do, what I've been able to do for women's basketball, and look forward to continuing to do that. Yeah, she mastered the media because that's not what they want her to say. They want her to go into what Asia Wilson said, and they want her to go, no, that's not the case, and do this whole thing. She's too smart for that, okay? The Iowa girl can handle your question by saying, listen, shine light on those who need to be, who deserve it. I've obviously deserved it. And notice what she says and how sweetly she says it. I've done that, and I'm going to continue to do that. So you can keep all that nonsense. I'm not going there. You're not catching me. She masters the media. So let me go to another example of how she handles the media. And this time, it's in reference to really handling a sensitive issue for some. This is not even just handling the media. This is taking a question from the media and really handling her coach. Because many of us have been saying, why does Coach Sides have Caitlin playing out of her natural position so often? Why is she not in her flow as the point guard and she's got her as the two? So people have been wondering about that. And Caitlin's giving her post-game comments. I believe this was after game 5. And take a look at how she handles some questions here.
Yeah. What happened? I think just, you know, playing a little faster in transition. I think when I can get the rebounds and go in transition, it's really good for us. You know, when I can get the ball in my hands more as the one, I think I'm a little more successful at times. But yeah, I definitely had a little bit of a slow start, but you know, you're going to have times that happens, but I'm proud of my resiliency. I thought I came back and played a really good second half.
Okay, I'm going to stop there for a moment because I want to make sure you caught what I caught. She's given her comments. He's asked her a question. It's hard to pick up all that he's saying, but he's asking her a question about her play. And notice what she said. She does better when she has the ball in her hand, which we all know, which apparently Coach Sides doesn't quite seem to get yet. But she does. But she says it in such a smooth way. You know, she doesn't come out and say, what the heck is my coach doing? But she's saying, what the heck is my coach doing? In such a way. And then she quickly transitions to further information. Let's back up a little bit more and hear how she handled that again.
You know, when I can get the ball in my hands more as the one, I think I'm a little more successful.
There it is. When I can get the ball in my hands as the one, I'm a little bit more successful. And I'll stop there. She then, like I said, turns the attention to her play, to her pace. And there's some other little things in there too, whereas it's just a little bit of a message to the coach. So she's handling the media's question very well. And she's also handling the situation with the coach very well. This girl's basketball IQ is through the roof. And so I'm sure she's, you know, when she finds herself sitting on the bench when she should be in the game, or when she finds herself not being able to be in that flow, running that point guard position, like she said, I do better when the ball is in my hand. Absolutely. Every coach should be able to see that. Not to say that she can't be versatile. I get it. Taking her off, you know, off the one sometimes, but the stretches that we've seen, and sometimes seems like not at all at their natural position, yeah, it's a problem. And notice how she handles the question. She can take the question, give her a little, I call it a little light dig, and then go right back into other things and not blaming anybody. If I played that full clip, you would hear her talking about, herself. It's a learning curve for her, etc. The team learn to play together. It's always very, very gracious, even when she speaks the hard truth. It doesn't come out like a hard truth, because she can do that. She can master that. And that's rather cool. All right. So now I want to show you one last thing. But to do that, I got to take you back to 2023 LSU versus the Iowa Hawkeyes. You know it. The Angel Reese, hand in the face, ring finger thing. And this ability to handle the media, it's not new. Notice how she handled the question about Angel Reese way back when, a year ago. This girl is a master of the media. The media's job is to stir up controversy. Most people fall for it. Caitlin Clark shows you skills, not only on the floor, but in the post-game, meaning the post-game interview.
With USA Today again. Caitlin, can you tell us at the end of the game what happened? There's a lot blown up on Twitter about Angel Reese following you around, pointing to her ring finger and taunting you.
Honestly, I have no idea. I was just trying to get to the handshake line and shake hands and, be grateful that my team was in that position. That's all you can do is, hold your head high, be proud of what you did, and, all the credit in the world to LSU. They were tremendous. They deserve it. They had a tremendous season. Kim Mulkey coached them so well. She's one of the best basketball coaches of all time, and it shows. And she only said really kind things to me in the handshake line, so I'm very grateful for that too. But honestly, I have no idea, and I was just trying to, spend the last few moments on the court with, especially the 5 people that I've started 93 games with, and relishing every second of that.
This is why, right there, it's why I'm annoyed by people who want to see her fail, people who refuse to give her props, a media that is complicit in that, the league being ungrateful for what she brings to the table because she's nothing but class. So there she was, asked the question after the biggest loss of her career to that point. And she goes, first of all, she's like, I don't even know. Like, whatever, I barely hardly even noticed that. All I know is I just wanted to shake hands. I just wanted to get back to those players I spent so much time with. In all credit to Kim Mulkey, she was so kind to me, and they just, she coached this team so well, and that's what some people can learn. The people who think that it's just because Caitlin is white are delusional. It's not only the basketball ability, it's her ability to handle the questions, the tough questions, and the disappointment. At a time like that, when you lose, you get to the finals, the championship game, and you lose, and somebody comes up in your face, putting their finger, she could have said, yeah, that's the rudest thing. No one should, that's the most ungracious thing I've ever seen. And she should be ashamed of herself. And yeah, I'm ticked off. I mean, she could have done that. She didn't do that. She was gracious. Now, the media would have loved for her to do that, because they would have raked her over the coals. And they would have played it up. But she's so savvy, and she was even then. And it continues at this level. Right now, people are so, it's a whole big thing. You hear Charles Barkley coming out talking about how they're treating her. You hear LeBron James. You get the women on The View, Sunny Houston, talking nonsense. You got all this stuff. And she has done nothing but give credit where credit is due, and do it with class. And even when she gives the little dig to the coach, It's done with such grace because she's not going to give the media what the media want to see from her so that they can add to their arsenal in their campaign to make her look like an absolute failure. This girl is an amazing basketball player, but she might be even better at handling the haters and the media. Thank you for checking this episode out. Let me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you tell other people about it. I appreciate it, but get those comments going. And whether you agree or whether you disagree, hey, you think I'm wrong? Tell me where I'm wrong. This girl's she's got the full package, and she's just getting started. All right, I'll catch you guys next time. God bless you abundantly.